Well, how's it going, everybody? Oh, I'm so excited for this one. Yeah, this is it. We travelled down to Minehead to see the guys, Phil, Scott, you know them, as Bike Racing Without Mercy, and KOM on TV. This is Dunkery, the full climb, the one that's listed on the Simon Warren 100 Climbs of the UK book, app, whatever it is you look at in today's age. This climb is mental at the bottom. There's a cattle grid coming up around this corner, and I'm going to run you through basically my whole effort. This whole effort was estimated to take me about 11 minutes. That's actually the target I set myself. But we were on a good day. Well, at least we must have been. Shout out, everyone loves a cattle grid. It gets a bit messy in the wet, but it was bone dry today. Basically, this climb we'd marked as let's give it a go. And earlier in the day, by the way, the main video is coming out tomorrow for this, my little adventure down the West Country. But this I thought I'd put out in anticipation for that, for that video, basically. But I wanted to attack this climb. I wanted to give it my full attention while I was there. It was a big travel day, actually. Me and Charlie ended up going down to Cornwall. We gave back the St. Piran bike and the kit. So all went well down there. And on the way back, we decided to call in and say hi to the guys and girls, of course. And also have a little stab at a KOM where, I'd have a lot of kind of fatigue in my legs from traveling. And for those of you that I don't know, I guess, travel a lot for a living, or, you spend a lot of time on your feet working, or even those of you that spend a lot of time sitting down, you'll know how much that can take out of your legs and how much kind of energy, mentally and physically, that can take out of you. So today is actually good practice for the weekend. Or rather yesterday was good practice for the weekend, because it was a big day of traveling. We spent almost 8 hours in the car up until this point, and we'd ridden for about 2 hours. We did Pollock Hill, we did a couple of kilometers on the flat roads, and then we hit a Dunkery. And this climb had been, it'd been mentioned to me. A couple of people, Andrew Feather, had the KOM, and it was 11:16 was the KOM. So I know how good Andrew Feather is going uphill. Former national hill climb champion, very, very strong rider, has multiple KOMs. If you take a look at his Strava, but I was very cautious. I thought, it's not a great day. It's very windy. It's probably a crosswind over the top of this in the open moor, which you'll see in a second. But I knew that, I think a conservative 11 minutes would have been a good time to aim for. So we started the climb, and as you can see, it's very steep. It's very relentless, this first section. And I knew I'd done a little bit of homework, courtesy of Google Maps, Google Street View. I knew that there was a flat/downhill section. You can see it right here. By the way, my cadence is absolutely on point, thanks to that 30 tooth cassette I now have on. This flat section is exactly like Haytor. It's very, very fast. They get up to, if you watch the speed, it's not quite registering because I'm going through the trees, but I know my GPS gets to something like 45k an hour. Yeah, it creeps up now, or 49 even. 49k an hour on that section. It is quite fast, slightly downhill. My power drops off. My heart rate plummets. If you didn't see it, rewind it a little bit. You'll be able to see it's almost between 5 and 10 beats. It drops within 30 seconds. This is how you race a climb. I'm not gonna there's no secret. You don't go flat out the whole way. There's no secret. It's you ride the climb to how it's going to best suit that highest average speed. And if you get a lot of free speed on that flat section, then there's absolutely no point in riding 450 watts. There's no point at all. You might gain a couple of seconds, maybe 1 or 2 seconds, but come on, just get really aero, get a few breaths in, recover, and hit this next section. Because this next section here, and we get up to the man himself in a couple of minutes, or probably less than that actually. This section, you start to pick up that crosswind now, and I wouldn't have said it was a cross tailwind. I mean, at 17k an hour, you don't really feel it, I gotta be honest, but I was in a little saddle here. I had a little wasp chasing me. You might have caught him on the screen there. He was like buzzing around me for a bit, and then I blew him away. But we come around these little hairpins. These are probably like just as steep as the bottom section. But Dunkery is 3.1 to 3.2 kilometers in length, and it averages like over 10%. So it's a brutal climb. We don't really have anything like this in South Wales of this kind of length and this steepness. Hang on a minute. Let's just listen to this.
Go on, mate. Fly.
So we passed Scott there. Scott actually had to dismount. He only did that for the pictures, by the way. But we had some great shots at the top of this climb, thanks to Nat and Jane as well, and of course Charlie, taking video and some stills at the top of this climb. It was a brilliant, like, you have the worst view here, by the way. Like, the view behind me was incredible, and the photos like don't do it justice, because a lot of the climbs around here, this is the Minehead region, they'd be great for a training camp out onto Hexr, because a lot of the climbs start at sea level, like literally like 0 meters above sea level, and they finish at like 350 to 400 meters. So you can imagine the gradients to get to that kind of elevation in such a short space of time. So we're deep into the effort now. We're like coming up to 7 minutes into the effort, and obviously I pressed the lap button at the bottom, so I know these people looked very, very strange at me, by the way. They had no idea what was going on. But I knew, how far into the effort I was. My breathing was getting a little bit ragged. The gradient changes quite a lot here now, so it was becoming very difficult to hold high power, but I wasn't worried about that. I kind of knew how well I'd started the effort. And when you see sub 400 watts coming out here, I know it's only going to be for 10-20 seconds, and then the gradient goes up again, and so do the watts. So I don't really worry about that. And going back to the cadence thing, my cadence is still like great, like anything over 90 RPM on, a 13% gradient. And that's helped by that chain ring. So we're currently running a 52-36, and then on the back we've got a 30-12, and that 30 on that steep section at the bottom, I kid you not, it was like bliss. The fact that I was able to stay seated doing like 450 to 500 watts at 100 RPM was just like amazing. I don't know why I haven't like made the change sooner, I gotta be honest with you. So you can see we're getting closer to the top of the climb now. You're starting to go really slow. It's like slow motion this last bit, down to 12k an hour. And yeah, like I now see like we're coming up to 9 minutes into the effort, and like I said, I thought I'd be around the 11-minute mark. And to be honest, when you don't know a climb, and I spoke to Phil about this earlier in the day, and I said to him, there's a couple of reasons why, you'll never do your best effort the first time up a climb, usually, and that's because you don't know the climb, and then you don't know how to pace it. So if, like, yes, you could pace it well enough, like I have, going into this climb completely blind, never ridden it before, in a way that, you press harder when it goes steeper, and then you ease off when it gets, a little bit flatter, I guess. But, for a first effort and attempt, you never know where that finish line is. And I actually got it wrong here, where Scott did tell me that it was, don't go to the first lay-by, you go to the second lay-by. Problem is, you don't know which like little pull-in is a lay-by, which isn't. So what technically is a lay-by on the side of this mountain? So I ended up easing off maybe for 5 seconds. It's nothing major, but it didn't ruin my effort at all. There's Charlie, Jane, Nat, perfectly poised. But now I'm starting to get up to speed, and this is where I guess, there's no point worrying about the power. I'm starting to pick up a lot of speed now because the gradient is starting to really ease off. We're starting to go down into single fingers, I nearly said that, single figures, down to 7%. I wasn't in the big ring, still in the small ring the whole way up, even on that flat section, and that was actually good because it stopped me from pressing on too much. And then, you know, we hit the 10 minutes 30 seconds. My actual KOM time was 10:22, so the previous time was 11:16, so that's, you know, almost a minute basically. But this was rapid, and this is where I thought the finish was basically. But it's brilliant. This is amazing. The climb was just incredible. The fans were amazing at the top of the climb. Like, thank you for coming out and shouting your support. There they are, all parked on the side of the road looking at the view and completely oblivious to me coming up on the tarmac behind. But there's Mr. Phil Lovett. And that's it. I really enjoyed that, got to be honest. So I hope you enjoyed that as well. Like I said, new video coming out soon. Go and check out Phil, go check out Scott. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.